What's up with y'all? So as you can see for today, we're gonna be installing some air demand, air struts, or air suspension on my Q60. So my car already has bags. I had airlift, but I sold them and I'm upgrading to these guys. Why? Because the front on these guys, they're double bag. Airlift is just one sleeve, so you have to ride with hella PSI. The ride is not as good as these. And I had these on my Q50 when I had it bagged, and these rode fucking cherries, so I'm putting them back on. Check them out though. Legit. Check them out, Air Demand or Air Force, same manufacturer. But it came in this box. It comes with 2 braided lines for the front. It comes with the dampenings for the struts, so you can either put your ride to soft or more like a stiff. And then it does come with these fittings for the bags, but we're not going to run those because those are screw-ons, and we're going to run the push connects. So let me set up the airbags, and I'm going to show you guys how to install the suspension part, because I already have all the wiring and stuff right in, so I can't show you on this car, but I can show you on a different one. So let's get to it. So this is my current setup for the trunk. I have these plastics off that go behind the seat because I took off my old shocks last week, but these finally came in, but nothing crazy. This is just like a piece of wood cut to the size of the carpet, wrapped in carpet. It's all bolted up, so nothing moves. I got dual compressors. You don't have to run dual, you can run single, but check us out on IG. This is our personal build, but so yeah, that's the rear. This is how it sits right now. It's not bad, stock height, but I've always had on my car's bags, so it's been like this for about a week and it's bugging me. So time to slap the new ones on. Alright guys, to remove the front shock, it's really easy. These Infinitis are not that complicated, so if you're trying this at home, you should be cool. First thing I do is I remove this 14 and I remove the nut and the bolt. This holds the upper control arm, so once you get this out, it'll give you room to bring that spindle down and play with it a little bit. After that, you're gonna go down here. You're gonna see there's a 14 there. This is a 19, and there's 2 14s right here. I'm missing that one because the other day when I did the suspension, I couldn't find it, but it was under my jack, so I'm gonna put it back on today. So pretty much remove this guy first, because you don't have to remove this first actually, but I usually remove it first and then I take off the side ones just because there's more tension here, but so you don't strip these. But that's pretty much it. You're gonna remove these 3, and then this middle nut that holds the sway bar, so that runs across through the shock, and that'll let you push it out a little bit, enough to get the shock out. And then up here, I'll show you, there's 3 bolts that you're gonna get off. Alright, so to remove the shock, there's 1 bolt right there, there's one right there, and then there's one underneath the harness right there. Same thing, the other side is easier because you don't have that stuff in the way. So yeah, there's 1, 2, 3. Same thing for both. Do not touch that guy. You don't want to touch that because you'll release the top head and the spring compression on that will just bounce back at you. So do not touch that. Only these 3. Sometimes you're gonna want to push down on it because you're gonna be like, I can't get it out. That way you don't hammer and mess up the threads. Just push down on it and it'll release the tension to let you take it out. And then this guy will just come off, and you see, gives you so much room so you can knock those bolts out. So I'll just put this back together so we don't lose it. So yeah, now I have plenty of space. Let me focus it. And I got plenty of space to tackle these guys out. But yeah, this one's pretty simple. If you want to be safe, you could take this out. It's not too much tension on it, and I'm not gonna pull it back more, so I'm not really worried about it. But yeah, so next is gonna be this 14, these two 14s, and this 19. So I'll set up the camera, that way you guys can see how I take them off. I like to use a swivel. It makes it easier for these down here. So yeah, that's those two. There should be another one, like I said, but I couldn't find it the other day, so I'm not gonna worry about it. I'll use the ratchet for this one. Alright, so now that we have those bolts out and the bracket off, these are the bolts. Like I said, it's 3 of these. I couldn't find it. I thought I had the one from last time, but I just ended up ordering a new one, so I'm not gonna put it on. Nothing will happen. But so this is the middle one that goes here. This is the bracket. So I just take it off completely. That sway bar, some people I see, they just hammer it out. I don't do that. I don't like doing it unless I really have to, because you can mess up the threads. But lift up, jack up the other side of the car, and it'll release some of the tension. It'll let you push it back enough to pull out the shock. But what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna take off the 3 strut bolts. So we're gonna take these guys off. I don't think I'm gonna be able to show you how I do it because of the camera, but this one you're gonna kind of have to just wiggle in, or if you can fit your hand in there somehow. But let me take these guys off. They're 12mm bolts. I'm gonna have to put the camera down because it's kind of hard to do it with one hand, so I'll be right back. All right, so I got all the nuts out. The way I did this one, there's enough room to stick the socket in like this. You need an extension. If you have a swivel, it'll be easier, but this is how I do it. I stick it in, and I was able to break it loose and stick my finger in and grab the nut. But so those guys are out. Now I'll show you how to take off the shock. But like I said, I'm gonna lift this side up to release the tension on the sway bar, which is this guy right here. It'll release the tension, which will make this easier to take off. So let me remove this guy. Let me jack up the other side, my bad, and you'll see the difference. Right now I can't push it. It's so much tension's on there, so I can't even wiggle it. But once I jack up the other side, it'll be easier. I might tap it a little bit, but we'll see. Alright, so I have the other side jacked up now. I'm gonna tap it out a little bit. There's still some tension, but it's not as bad as it was. So I'm gonna tap this guy out just far back enough so I can pull this shock out, because this guy is ready to come out. So let me show you guys how I do that. So it moved. I barely tapped it, not that much force, and it slided out pretty cool. So now I can stick in my pry bar. I can push this strut out a little bit. Let me show you guys something. So as I was moving this is moving with it. Like I said, there's some tension in it, but you're just gonna have to play with it. Either hold it and tap it at the same time. I'm gonna just hold it and tap the shock out. So I'm gonna just hold this, tap it here, and the shock will come out and it'll all come out. So let me do that. Boom. That's all it took. Just be careful with the brake lines, the ABS sensors, but boom. So now it's out. Like I said, all I had to do was tap it. I don't know why this has this bush and this doesn't even go there. That's weird. Anyways, so yeah, this is gonna stay like this. I don't know if you could tell, but it's kind of pointed down. Like I said, it's because of the tension. Luckily, there's not too much tension in it, and I don't want to take this off because it is going to be somewhat hard to put it on. And it's not necessary to take it off. I see you can also unbolt it from back here, but it's easier to do what I did. So now I got my front shock here. It doesn't have the airline in. I have these that I took off my old bags. Like I said, they have the push connects. It's easier to put the line in and take it off when you have to take off the shock or change the line. So it has some Teflon. I'm gonna take this off and add new Teflon around it, just so there's no leaks. And then we'll screw this in. I think I'm gonna adjust the shock height somewhat similar, but a little shorter than that one, just so I don't have to ride with a lot of PSI. That makes sense. These gloves are honestly not helping. I didn't want to get as dirty, but it's whatever. So I'm gonna take all this old stuff off. It's alright if you have some left over. It's not a big deal. I'm gonna cut this so it's nice and clean. So what I do is I like to just wrap it around a couple times. Like I said, I don't want no leaks. I don't want headaches. Some people don't do this and they start stressing when they have leaks and can't find it. So I'm just gonna wrap it a couple times. Some people will be like, "Oh, you wrapped it too much." Nah, it don't matter. That's more than enough. So I'm just gonna cut that much extra. Wrap it around. Boom. Rip this off. So you get something like that. In the middle, I just kind of clean it up. Like I said, it don't have to be perfect. The air is gonna run through regardless. It's not gonna affect it or anything. But so this is what mine ends up looking like. Nothing crazy. So now I'm gonna just put it on, and then we'll adjust the shock and we'll slap it back on. you don't want to over tighten it either. I usually do it just to when I can't spin it no more. So it's nice and tight there. So now I'm gonna grab a measuring tape and compare it to the OEM struts. Because like I said, what a lot of people do, they'll max it out. This is kind of maxed out. You can go lower, but they want to be so slammed to the ground when they air out. But then when they're driving, they have to ride with like 100 plus PSI. I don't really like doing that. Your ride will be more bouncier. These won't be as much of a problem because we have double bag, like I said, for the front. Usually for INFINITIs, Q60s, Q50s, they come with a single sleeve, which I hate. So I'm going to break this loose with the tool that they included. I'm going to measure it. I'm going to measure this one, and then I'll kind of see where I want to have it at. But yeah, let me grab that real quick. So it's about 20 and a half, how it's adjusted now. Let's measure this guy right here. This guy's about, it's right about at 24. You guys probably can't see it. Here, let me see. It's like right at 24. So this one's at 24. This one's at 21. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna adjust this to 23, which would be an inch lower from factory. I think 23, it'll sit kind of cool. Maybe I'll do 23 and a half, but you could always adjust this when it's on the car. All you have to do is spin it. But like I said, this is where the quick connect comes in through, because obviously if you're adjusting it while it's in the car, you don't want to take it off because it's a hassle to just take this off and break it and twist it. Quick connect, you disconnect the line. This, you can just wrap it around. It'll be spinning with the bag. So let me break this loose. It came with this key. They include 2 of them, so which is pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna break this loose. So now that it's loose, you can spin this. Now you can spin the shock and adjust it to wherever you like. So we're gonna see what it measures there. I always measure from the top hat. So right now it's at 21. I think I said I was gonna do 23. Yeah, I think I said I was gonna do 23, so just a little more. You know what? I'm gonna just do it at 22. It'll be 2 inches lower than factory. So it's right at 22. I think I'm gonna just leave it like that. I'm gonna try it out. I was gonna do 23, but it seems a little too much, honestly. So I'm gonna leave it at 22 inches. I'll go ahead and lock this up. That way it doesn't move on me. And then once I do I'll adjust the other one before I slap it on as well. But after that, we're gonna slap it back on. Sorry, the camera. We're gonna slap it back on, and we should be cool on this side. So let's go ahead and lock this up and we'll slap it back on. So I'm gonna just snug it, just so I know where this is not gonna move. Once it's on the car and bolted up, I'll lock it good, just because I don't want it to move on me, because I have it adjusted how I want it. So it's not gonna move. If I move it, it's not gonna move. So we'll go ahead. I'll show you guys how I slap this back on. So this is gonna be same concept, same way we took it off. We'll put it back in. So I'll line up the holes up here. Boom. Like I said, this is locked, so I can move it all together. As you see, it's a little shorter. What I'm gonna do to hold this guy in, I'm gonna put one nut up there, just so I can have this guy locked in place. So I got a nut locked in the top, holding it, so this guy's not gonna go anywhere. I'm gonna have to jack this up a little bit because obviously it's shorter than factory. So as you can see, this is what I was talking about. Now I can move this freely because there's no tension, like I said, but obviously this is shorter, so I'm gonna put a jack under just to help it lift up. I'll slide it in, and then I'll put the bracket back up, and I'll bolt the top. I have my airline here, so this will click in there. I usually run this through the back, that way it's all hidden, and it's gripped on here. It's not gonna go anywhere once I put the clip, so we don't have to worry about that. But let me jack it up, and I'm gonna slide it. I'm gonna put this in, then I'll show you guys what to do. So all the tension from this was giving me trouble actually putting it back on. So what I did was I released the nut that was holding it, but since we have it lined up, once I jack it up, I'll be able to actually slide this back on easier. So yeah. All right, so you guys saw pretty much I put it in. I put the bracket in, and I put the two nuts in. Like I said, you're gonna have a third one down here, but I don't have it, so I ordered one online. It should get here tomorrow. So I'll just put it on after. But there's a little bit of tension here, so you don't want to tighten it because you could damage the thread on it. So like when I lift it up, you can see I can wiggle it. When I don't, it's stiff. So before you tighten it, you kind of want to use one hand to tighten it, and then the other one you kind of want to lift it up so it's lined up. But sometimes too, when you tighten that bolt, all of these will kind of come together. As you see, I can put them in freely now. There's no more tension, so now I'll be good to tighten those guys up. So just like that, we have everything back in. Obviously the top is still like that, but once I slide the jack underneath the control arm, it'll push it up, and I can align everything back up. So like I said, this didn't move. It actually kind of locked in, but it's not locked in all the way. But I'm gonna measure from here to here, so I can do it exactly to the other one, just in case it did move a little bit, but I don't think so. But that way we can have both struts aligned at the same height. That way when you have the car up, one side's not higher than the other. You don't have to run different PSI. But so yeah, pretty much I'm gonna lift it up now, and I'm gonna throw those in, and that's pretty much how you do the front suspension. So let me jack it up and put the nuts in from the top, and then I'll show you how I connect this airline and hide it and all that. So I have it jacked up under the control arm. As you can see, it went in. So now the studs are out. So now I can put them on. It did come with new nuts, which is cool. I'm gonna use them. So now we're gonna throw the nuts back on, tighten it, and then we can let go of the jack and front suspension is done. So I took off the jack. It wasn't even holding it up no more because obviously I have everything bolted up. But like I said, so the next step would be you're gonna push this arm back in. Let me see if I can do it. Cool. So yeah, it's in. You're gonna grab the nut and the bolt again. Slide it in. Let me do it with the other hand. And then all you're gonna do is tighten this guy up. I'll show you how I run my line, and then we'll be done with the front. It's gonna be the same thing for the other side. I'm not gonna show you how to do both because obviously it's the same thing, but I'll show you this side and then we'll jump to the rear. So the way I run my airline is I have this clip off because I like to kind of tuck it in there. So like I said, this just push in, it's not going nowhere. This will hide underneath all this plastic. I have the clips off, like I said, but once I have the clips on, all of this is hidden underneath. So I'll leave a little bit of slack. So pretty much I'll put the clip there. This will have enough slack so when it turns and stuff, and that's how I set up the front. So let me grab the clip. Where's the fucking clip? Should be this one. Boom. Just like that. The clip's in. It's holding it. This isn't going nowhere. Like I said, it has enough slack here so when it turns and stuff, but regardless, there's no tension on it. This is cool. I am gonna put the wheel back on. I have my system disconnected right now, but I'll show you where I have mine, just so I can air it up and test for leaks before, just to show you guys that it's not gonna leak. So I'm gonna add some air into it. Let me connect my system real quick. I'll show you guys how I have it actually. So push the seat down. Here's the interior, nothing crazy. I ordered the Mark 7 stereo from Jalisco's, so I'm gonna upgrade that to like that Tesla look. I got this from South Bay Auto Works, carbon fiber steering wheel. I want to put the red sport seats in here. Mine's a premium, so it doesn't come with that, but I feel like the red would look clean. Maybe add some starlights, but we'll see. Let me know what I should do to the interior, or what else you guys want to see on this car. So the way I have mine, we'll push these seats back. Like I said, I took off these panels because the shock bolts for the rear are up there, as you can see. So let me move these guys out of the way. I'm gonna flip this. I have everything down here. It looks like a mess, but it's honestly just all wrapped up. I didn't want it. There's people that have this shit just fucking running everywhere. I like to have it somewhat neat, but it's just wrapped up. Like I said, I had disconnected this because I wasn't running suspension for a week, so I didn't want my compressors to be going on and off for no reason. But so I'll just leave the rear like that. I have it plugged in, so let me see. I also disconnected my control because it started to glitch. So I hit up Airlift. They're gonna warranty it out. They shipped one already, so I'm just waiting for that. Some of the buttons are not working on it, but let me connect it real quick. It's on. My compressors are running. It's not running how I should because my car's off. I just have the switch on, but there's enough air to put in the first bag. So like I said, my controller's it's fucked up. The button's not working, so I have to mess with it. I have to see how it lights up and it doesn't light up. So I'm gonna actually use the Bluetooth app on it. I can't show you guys that, but just so I can put some air in the front bag so I can lower it. So I'll be right back. So I used it on my app. I just held it for a bit. It's at 90 PSI right now. I'm not sure how I'm gonna ride it yet, because obviously I don't have the whole car set up, but I'm gonna just leave it at that for now, just so I can show you guys that it's not gonna leak or anything. But let me go show you guys from the outside. So I'm gonna just shoot some like water and soap on the fitting. As you can see, it'll bubble up if it's leaking. No bubbles means no leaks. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it for the front. So now I can actually slap the wheel back on. I can lower it and I'll kind of see where it's gonna sit, but like I said, the whole car is not done yet. That's just the first shock. So once I have all four set up, I'll see where I want to mess with the PSI. But let me slap this guy back on and I'll lower it, and then I'm gonna do the other side, and then I'll show you guys when I jump to the rear. So I actually forgot to show you guys, the struts come with the dampener. I think I showed that already. The way you put these, you're gonna insert it through the top in there. So once it's in, you'll kind of feel it locks in. I usually like to ride mine more soft, so you get that factory feeling. I had already adjusted them yesterday, but pretty much all you do is you twist it. If you want it more stiff, you twist it, but I'm going for more of a soft. I usually max it out, and then I'll bump it 5 times to the right. So I have this one already adjusted. I'm gonna just go ahead and throw the airline in, and I'll put it in. But this thing, it literally took me like 2 minutes to take this thing out. These suspensions are so easy. Shout out to INFINITI for not making a stupid ass design. But yeah, so I'm gonna throw the airline in. I'll throw it back in the car and air it up, and then I'll show you guys once I have both in. But yeah, everything's out. Like I said, it comes with new nuts. If you ever break this or anything, just know these are replaceable. It's a stud. But yeah, it's cool that it comes with all the hardware that you need. So especially for the rear, like airlift doesn't come with this. They don't throw in the nut that you need, because for the rear shock, you actually have this nut welded onto the actual strut. I'll show you guys when we do the rear. But yeah, so that one's done. I'm gonna throw it in. Once I throw the airline in, same exact thing. This is the same concept for coilovers, even if you're changing the factory struts or lowering springs, but same way to remove and put the suspension in again. So once I have this guy in, I'll air it up and I'll lower it, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. All right, so I got this one all set up. Everything's ran the same. Let me see if you guys can see that. Yeah, so I got everything in. I'm gonna slap on the wheel, put some air in it, and the front's done. So I have the front all done. This is at 100 in PSI, and look how low it is. So I'm actually gonna take it off. I'm gonna take off the wheel, and I'm gonna adjust the strut. So I'm probably gonna raise it about another inch. I'm gonna do an inch first and see how it is, because like I said, I don't want to drive on a lot of PSI, and I can't drive this low. I could, but I don't want to. So I think I'm gonna I had it like at 22. I think I'm gonna do like 23 inches long, and then I'm gonna go from there. So I'll show you guys how to adjust it as well. But yeah, this is way too low, but it looks sick. So I took the wheel off. I took out all the air from here, so I'm gonna have to take that clip off and disconnect the airline, and then we're gonna break this loose, and then we're just gonna twist the bag. We're gonna twist it that way, and it's gonna lift up. So I'll show you guys how to do that. So I got the airline disconnected. I broke this loose with the little tool, and pretty much you're gonna spin the bag and you'll see it spins. I had measured from here to here, it was about 23. I'm sorry, 2 3/4. So I'm gonna just raise it up to where it equals 4 inches from here to the bottom collar. So yeah, I'm gonna just, that's all you gotta do, twist it, and once you have it where you want it, just lock it, and then done. So I have it adjusted from that top collar to the bottom at 5.5, like right at 5.5. The way I had it was just way too low. I mean, it was drivable, but like I said, some people just max them out just so they can be super low when they air out, but you have to drive with a lot of PSI, and that's not what I want to do. I want to drive with the least PSI and be able to air out to where it maxes out, because it was hitting here up top my fenders, and this was folding. So I had it at 5.5 on the other side, and I think it might be at the perfect height. But then again, these are 20s, and usually you want to run 19s on these. So I'm gonna try it at 5.5 and see how it sits aired out from both sides, and we'll go from there. Because I want to throw in the back too, to kind of mess with all of them. But I'm gonna leave these at 5.5 for right now, and see how it looks. I'll show you guys right now. All right, so I have the front out done. So I ended up, from here to the bottom collar is 5 inches. So I did that on both sides. I think that's what my preference was, and it sat just how I wanted it, and it rides at the air I want. So the front's done. So now I'm going to teach you how to do the back one, and then we'll go ahead and mess with those, because I thought I had those set kind of where I thought, but I think they ended up being a little longer or same length as stock. So again, well, this is a spring, that's a bag. So let me air it up, and then we're gonna jump into those finally. All right, guys, so I got the wheel off for the rear. The rear is plain and simple. You have one bolt that runs through. I believe it's a 17. And the inside, you're gonna have 3. I'll show you. You got 3 bolts holding the shock in place. The only tricky part about the rear on these Q60s is taking all this mess off. So pretty much you're gonna lower the seat. These guys sit in here. They have just a couple clips you're gonna pop off. There's also a bracket that goes here. So it has, I don't know if you can see. So there's 2 bolts that hold that bracket there. There's 2 more that go here, and this nut. So you're gonna take that bracket off. They're all 10 millimeters, and then you're gonna have 3 12mm nuts holding the shock up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and loosen these up, and then I'm gonna remove that bottom bolt, and then we can take out the shock. All right, so I don't know if you can see, but I got the nuts out. They're right here. All I used was a ratcheting wrench, 12mm. So now what I'm gonna do, fucking camera, stupid camera. I'm gonna take off the 17. There's gonna be some tension here, so you might have to bang this out or use a pry bar. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a pry bar down here and just push it, and it'll push the shock out. But yeah, so this is a 17. Just go ahead and remove this, and then you'll be able to take out the shock. So as you guys saw, I took it out. I used a pry bar, pushed it out. So now it's just hanging here. You're gonna have to wiggle it out, and boom, just like that, this guy comes out. So I'm gonna just put the camera down so I can, let me see. Actually, there you go. So now I got it out. Like I said, this one's the easiest out of all of them. The only tricky part is the interior part, but I already had it off. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring the other one. I'm gonna bring the other one and adjust it, and then we'll slap it back on, and we'll be good for the rear. All right, guys, so now I got this one here. I'm gonna measure them both how I did with the other ones, and I'm gonna measure, I'm gonna adjust this, and then I'm gonna put the airline again with some Teflon down here, and then I'm gonna slap it on. So it's right around 25. All right, let's see. I think I'm gonna do 24 for this one. So I have it there right at 24. I'll go ahead and lock it in place. So I'm actually gonna twist. I'm gonna twist it because I want the airline to be on this side. So I kind of want it like that. So I'll just lock it here. So I'm gonna measure it again like I did to the other one from here to there. So it's almost at 4. I think I'm just gonna adjust it to where it's at 4 inches. So I have an even number. Yeah, so it's right at 4. Let me see if I can show you guys. So from the top hat to here, it's like right at 4 inches. I don't know if you can see it too good because the camera's a little funky here. Let me see. It's like right at 4 inches to that bottom collar, and that's from the top collar. As you can see, I'm measuring it from right there. So I'm gonna leave it at that. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but I have it adjusted right at 4 inches under the bottom collar. That's measuring from the top of the collar. So I'm just gonna slap on the airline, throw it in, and do any adjustments to the shock if I have to. But this is how I'm gonna run the rear just for the install. So we'll see once I slap it on. We'll see if I have to do any adjustments to it like I did to the front. But I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. So I'll show you guys when I have both of them on. So I have it on. It's adjusted at 4 inches from the top to the bottom collar. Like I said, it comes with the nut, so you don't have to worry about that. So yeah, let's air it up and we'll see how this thing looks bagged. So I got all the bags on. Right now it's at about 60 in the rear, and it's perfect. It's super high up. The front right now it's at 70. But I need to. That's how I used to have my ride height, super high. That's 100 in the front and 70 in the rear. But I'm gonna adjust this. So let me adjust it. I'm gonna play with it, and I'll show you guys when I'm done. All right, so check it out, guys. I have all the bags installed on it. Right now, I have it at 85 in the front and 43 in the rear, which is better than what I had. I can go lower in the front, but since I have carbon fenders, I don't really want to hit them or crack them. So that's a cool gap for now to be driving on to like N19s. Then I can go down to like 75. But I'm gonna air it out, show you how it sits. So it's low. That's exactly how I wanted it to sit. So yeah, I just had adjusted a few times in the front and the rear, but it's sitting exactly how I want it. I think it's the perfect stance.